Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Control Yourself video. My name is Alia, and this week we're talking about shoulder strength in the form of pulling and as it relates to downward facing dog in yoga. So when we talk about shoulder strength, we want our shoulders to be strong in all positions and with all types of actions. And one of the actions that is frequently missing from us as a population in general, even in exercise, all kinds of exercise, is the action of pulling. We used to hang off trees. That's how we used to be. We're sort of hanging like monkeys, and we would go from tree to tree, and that was just part of our environment. So we no longer lift our arms overhead for anything, except maybe to sometimes stretch in the morning, and then of course when you're in yoga and downward facing dog. So not only do we want arms overhead, but we also want to pull the arms in that direction. So I love to teach pulling and down dog, because it's really hard to find otherwise. A lot of teachers will say, pull your palms towards your feet. And it's like, well, how do I do that in downward facing dog? So a really great way to find that is to take your hands on a blanket and you're on the wood floor. And if you want to be on your mat, you can be on your mat, but you'll have your blanket on the wood floor for sure. And your hands are, down dog width apart. And it's really simple. You're just gonna tuck your toes, lift your knees, lift your hips, and you're trying not to slide forward. So, this is really hard. So you're gonna press down into your palms and you're in down dog. I would suggest warming up a little bit before this. So I'm trying not to do this, to slide forward. So I'm gonna pull myself back. And I'm just having to work. It's an isometric contraction, which means that, it's really challenging. Isometric contraction, which means that I'm actually holding in place, which is a lot of yoga, not actually moving in any direction. I'm holding the contraction still, but I'm having to hold it in a different way than I normally would on a mat. On a mat, we tend to push, and you can feel how much you normally push by how hard it is to pull. You definitely don't do this in downward facing dog on a regular basis, or most of us don't. I immediately feel my abs working. I immediately feel my quads working. And it's not that it has to be this hard every time, but knowing what the action feels like in your body can just add a new dimension to your down dog. It can take some pressure out of the hips, out of the wrists. It can take some pressure out of the shoulders and just give you a new perspective of how to hold yourself in the pose. New experience. So again, take the blanket and then notice, watch my shoulders as the harder it gets and the more tired you become, the more you can't really lift your hips. So if you can see, my hips are not very high and my shoulders are more over my wrists. But we really want our shoulders behind the wrists in down dog, right? And the hips lift a little bit. So when you're really here, so think of ears and lines with shoulders like a typical down dog. Try not to lose that while holding on to this isometric contraction in pulling form. So let me know how that goes. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot a message at the bottom of the video. Thanks everyone.